This is your Pain Game podcast, where we talk about the game of living in and with chronic pain and trauma, getting to the heart of how to heal. I am your host, Lyndsay Soprano. On this show, I plan on discussing with doctors, chronic pain patients, holistic practitioners, loved ones, and anybody that is interested in having their voice heard in the chronic pain and trauma world that we live in. Last week, I did a solo episode on how hard confronting the exhaustion, sadness, and anger, and all of the things that come with living in and with multiple chronic diagnoses and pain. You know, guys, I am absolutely exhausted. I am feeling better today than I've felt in months, to tell you the honest truth. I am just exhausted all the time. My brain, my attitude, irritability, my focus, even my hope, which we talk about all the time on this show, right? We talk about how I'm leaving these episodes with a message of hope. And I've had to remind myself to give myself a message of hope at the end of all of these episodes and at the end of every day, because it's really hard to wake up, you know? And my hope, as I said, has been teetering lately. And all of this because of pain, right? And we talk about pain obviously on this show constantly. And it's not just about the physical, it's the emotional side of it. It's our mental health. As we're going into the mental health month here of May, right? We're in it. I really want to talk about the importance of it, because when you live in chronic pain and it's never going away, that is how I wake up every day, right? And it wears on you. And, you know, when I first heard it went in the pain community, when I jumped aboard the pain community, which is just such a great thing to jump aboard in, but I did not believe the people that were in the community that were saying it is going to end up wearing on you. It is going to change you. It's going to change how you view the world. It's going to change how you interact with the people that you love, right? And I didn't think that I would ever hit that place. And that I would struggle to have purpose, that I would struggle to have meaning in my life. And then I have to circle back to remind myself of why I'm doing this show. This is my purpose now, because that's what life has dished me. And I don't want to wake up dreading the day. And unfortunately, I would say probably 75% of the mornings that I wake up, I dread waking up. That is not the Lyndsay that I grew up being. Right? So now I've got to live with this fact, and I've got to shift that mindset, that dialogue that I have going in my head. You know, I'm chronically pained. I'm chronically worried about my future and where my body is going to take me and my sweetie, along with those of so many other people that are in my life that are support. And don't get me wrong, I'm not giving up over here. All right. I just want you guys to know that I am really having a hard time right now. And I have been vulnerable and raw and open and honest with you from day one. So I'm going to continue to do that. And as you guys know, my sweetie is here, huge support, my number one cheerleader. But there is one person in my life, and I'm going to cry during this episode. So let me grab my tissues. Outside of my sweetie, who is, of course, my number one cheerleader, there is one person in my life who has turned into my rock, my absolute best friend, my support, my partner in my business, and part of this show. She presented herself in my life on January 11th of 2023 when she was a guest on this show. You know, I've made some wonderful friendships over the years of doing this show, but she certainly takes the cake. She is my sounding board, and we talk every 23 seconds of our lives. And outside of my sweetie, she is the one. I run everything, and actually I run more by her than I do my sweetie, quite frankly. And I should probably consider giving her a raise. I would like to introduce you to my gorgeous and spectacular Rachel Kalmar.
Thank you.
Hello, darling. Thank you for doing this with me today.
My pleasure.
Oh, man, we've gone through a lot together in a year and a half of time, and I'm so grateful for having you here. So just a quick intro about who she is outside of me crying already on this episode. Rachel is the director of social media and marketing for my agency, Bound by Marketing. She also holds these roles in the Pain Game podcast and has been hired as well to support my sweetie's new show that he is launching in the coming weeks. So she is busy supporting us on every front, both business and personal. She is from Toronto, and she made me say this, a city famed for its captivating winters and rich maple syrup. She is a true Canuck and pivotal force within my team and within my life. And outside of her professional life, she enjoys wandering the city with her Bernedoodle, Norman, who is also my dog nephew, with coffee in hand. So I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you, babe. I would like to start talking about, and I know normally this is more guest driven, but I really want to hear what you have to say in regards to working with me when it comes to what is the most challenging thing that you face dealing with somebody like myself that really suffers with chronic pain, and how you've watched me unfold over the past year and a half with my ups and my downs and how challenging that is for you.
It's a good question.
I know.
Yeah.
I know it is.
Question. I think because you're not just my boss, and like you said, you're my best friend and you're also my rock. I think for me, it's more emotional because I hate witnessing the struggles that you go through on a daily. But that being said, part of it makes me use it as a huge motivator. I've told you many times that you are an inspiration to me because you go through the ringer and you show up day in and day out no matter what. So, I
do have my days that I don't. You know that I do.
Yeah,
and I have to not.
They're far and few between, or few and far between, however the saying goes. And I honestly think that they're messages from the universe being like, just slow down. And, it's the time where I get to focus on work that I can just do without having to go back and forth, and for you to just focus on your body. And no matter what, our stuff still gets done. It just ends up being a little bit of a quieter day between our communication, like you said, or every 23
seconds.
So we're communicating. So I think more for me, it's like, I'm just, I'm sad for you. And I wish that, there was something more I could do to help you. But from a work perspective, we're pretty set up where I know what to do. I know where I'm going with it. And I think for you, you can just know that things are taken care of and you have the ability to take that day for yourself, and stuff will still get done that, you've allowed me, and that I've kind of moved into that role of taking over and shifting away from you, which I love.
I love that you love it. And I love that you love it. And it's so interesting because for those of you that have known me for as long as some of you have known me for basically my whole life, and there have been a lot of you that came in 20 years ago and some of you that came in a year and a half ago, right? I have run my business by myself for 24 years outside of the time that Rachel has been part of my company here. I do have a gal, Abby, who has worked with me for those 20 years, but she's very specific to what she does within my world. She just is in development for websites. That is what she does. All of the rest of the stuff during the day, every single thing I've always done. And I've tried to hire people in the past. It has never worked out. I'm a control freak. I'm always worried about making sure that everything is going to be done. Everything's going to be done well. And what was happening is I was losing my ability to focus for long durations of time, where I used to be able to bang out work for 6 hours, no problem. I can sometimes only work for 20 minutes at a time. And it's been an incredible challenge for me to allow somebody to come in and really kind of take over for me. And you've actually kind of turned into my boss.
It is true. And honestly,
I want to raise them.
It has, when you think about where we started and how far we've come, I also have to applaud you. You have let go of a lot. And actually, that was really challenging at the beginning too, where, I wanted to do certain things. There was just that you still had that, that hold on your vision.
Yeah, I couldn't relinquish any form of control.
And you worked through that. And it has, I think, been a lifesaver for you. And it's
totally
been really helpful for me to grow within the brand and really kind of also put my own kind of touch on the brand in its own way. I'm so grateful honestly. I'm so grateful. I've had so much fun kind of giving your brands almost like a little rebrand with.
You did. Absolutely. And you're touching all of these little spots within my business and then within my show as well. And for me, trust and safety issues have always been part of my problem. We all know that. That's what happens with trauma. But I always have wanted to control stuff because I am an out of control person. I'm wild and I'm crazy, and I'm the cliff jumper. I'm the skydiver. I'm the person that takes all of these risks, and a lot of those risks that I've taken, and a lot of those decisions I've made over my years, good, bad, and ugly, have played a part in my health right now. So I am aware that some of that stuff that I did as a younger person is crept up, and I'm dealing with the repercussions and the consequences of some of that behavior. And so that's for a whole other show. But it really is amazing that I found somebody outside of my spouse that I can trust with literally every single conversation and every single thought that I have in my brain. And you're the same. And you giving me your 23 seconds, every 23 seconds, and vice versa. It's like in the morning when we wake up, because we're 3 hours up, she's 3 hours ahead. So she's already gotten going. She's had her coffee and I'm like, I'm dead. But I'm up so early because of my Sweeties show anyways. But if the first person I think of and I have to respond to in the morning, I don't check anything before I check WhatsApp. That's it.
Damn right.
We need to know, how did we sleep? How are the dogs?
Yeah,
what's going on? We get a full rundown.
But actually, I wake up to, let's say, if I've missed a text from you, or if I've already gone to sleep and you've updated me on something. So it's very much the same. But I will say too, in you kind of dealing with your own struggles and me dealing with my own chronic, I guess we could say chronic disease struggles.
Yes.
I've probably been through my fair share of chronic pain. I am dealing with, similar to you, chronic Lyme and all these different weird symptoms that creep up. I think it works out for us because we both are in the understanding that sometimes we're not going to have the best day, or sometimes we're not going to have the best hour. And that means going to lie down for a little bit of time. And I'm so grateful for the understanding, because you're like, go take your break, go take your time, go, go for a walk, go cry, go do whatever it is that you have to do.
Go ball your mascara off, woman.
Exactly. So that you can, feel better, feel that release, come back, but take your time. And there's no real pressure on that. But the fact that I feel and know that I'm understood. So in moments where I'm having some off time, because, it has happened and it does happen. And it's not every day, but there are periods of time that I have my shtick.
You've got plenty of mishigas going on. That's for sure, my little one.
Exactly. And so I think going both ways, where we kind of both are very understanding of the struggle, and therefore the time that we need to sometimes take for ourselves is mutually beneficial. Without a doubt.
Yeah, and we tend to be the voice of reason for each other sometimes too. Where I unwind in a darker way than you do, because the CRPS is a very, very scary disease. It fucks with your noodle, man. I mean, it takes you to places that I never thought I would go.
Yeah.
And you go to those places with me, and you pull me out. And I wanted to make sure that today I thanked you.
You're going to make me
for that, because you seriously have added such an incredible piece to my pie that I've never had a business partner. I've never had, I've never had somebody that could really truly understand me and all of my own mishigas, right? And we're speaking Yiddish to those people that don't understand what we're using, these terminologies. But the things that we talk about, I mean, sometimes they're pretty dark and twisty, and you kind of throw a little bit of bright colored paint at me, you paintball gun me.
I definitely,
and you're brutally honest, which is something that is very rare to find in friendships. I mean, guys, this girl's going to be in our wedding, for crying out loud, right? This is how important this woman is. She's on his side, which is even funnier.
I love a good
because she's become part of our family. It's not just she works with us, she works with my sweetie and I too. So, I mean, she's just such an incredible person. So, I want to get into a little bit about the health challenges that you have faced, because that's how we initially
Connect.
started chit-chatting with each other, and how we met was through potting about our health and our gut and why it is so incredibly important, because that is still part of you and your life. And I think that you have a lot to add to this conversation.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as you had mentioned, we connected because I, in my previous life, had a business that was focused on gut health, pain management, chronic illness. But I was finding that, dealing with clients was a little bit too stressful for everything I had been going through at the moment and needed a pivot. And I feel like it's still relevant. I'm still able to support you in certain ways while you're also working with your practitioners. And, we can talk about these things and go back and forth about,
what do you think about this supplement that I just got? And you're like, ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It definitely plays an important part. I have gone through the ringer with my health for, honestly, my mom has photos of me sitting on the toilet as like a little girl being like, she was like, you have always had stomach issues your literal whole life. I want to say I got into university and the chronic pain got really bad. It kind of spread all over my body and I was going from doctor to doctor. I was getting nerve block injections. I was on pain medication. And I actually got this likelihood diagnosis of chronic fatigue immune dysfunction. And they were like to me, you know what? The next half of the year, we have a trial that you can be part of. And I said, heck no. I was like, this is not for me. There has got to be a better way. And that is really when I started my career in holistic health. I found certain diets, I found certain protocols, certain practitioners, and it just skyrocketed that aspect of my life. I did parasite cleanses. I did all the things. And it turned out, I found out, was it maybe February of 2020 or February of 2021? I did find out that it was Lyme that I had been struggling with and a lot of different infections, herpes simplex, herpes, HSV1, herpes simplex virus 1, HSV7, Lyme.
I have every HSV, 1 through 221.
All of it, but not like, I think what most people don't understand too is, you have Lyme, but with Lyme comes certain co-infections that are, not as harder to kill than Lyme. So you kind of learn these things. You find the practitioners that work for you. I have many, and they all kind of serve a different purpose. Some from functional to energetic is the fan. And I do feel that they all play an important role in healing. Like you've spoken about on the show, holistic health, mind, body, soul. It's all, it's all, it's all so relevant. And I've never understood the connection to energetics more than I do now, because I've dabbled in that world with a great friend of mine, someone who you've now been introduced to.
Yeah, she did an episode with us, Jordana.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So, as I've gone through the struggles, I feel like in a way it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because I get the opportunity to share my knowledge with other people privately, because I don't do it as a business anymore. I do believe there is a purpose to it. One of them being we connected so well because of that.
Amen.
And I am forever grateful the way you're forever grateful for me. I am forever grateful for you. I'm forever grateful for your sweetie. You guys have changed my life in so many ways. And the fact that I get to contribute to this podcast and help other people navigate their journeys with chronic illness, pain, trauma, recovery, whatever it is that they are trying to work through, is something that I am beyond incredibly grateful for.
Well, it's rewarding. And all of the stuff that you see like in our social media for the show and all of that, that is all Rachel. That is not me. She shows me what she's doing and I say, yeah.
That is
and big picture, like I don't even check her work or anything. But in the beginning, like she said, holy talk about how hard it was for me to relinquish control. And now I'm like, oh my God, my episode's going out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I totally forget because she is taking care of like everything for me, which is insane because I have a full-time job running my Sweetie's World and with his shows, because he's got a lot of stuff going on. You guys are going to officially meet him and get his name actually on 100th episode. So you guys have a couple more episodes. He's finally coming on and doing a show with me or an episode with me. So you guys get to finally meet this crazy ass lunatic that I'm marrying March 20th of 2025. but you know, one of the things that, you know, that's so great about our relationship too is you're an old soul, which is incredibly important for somebody like me. You have wisdom far beyond your years that you have been able to like implant into my daily. Whenever I'm like starting to spiral, you come in with some stupid saying that just ends up changing my day. And I'm like, well, that's my wisdom, girl. Like you're so incredible in that regard. And I just wanted to point that out to you too. That old soul part of you is so important to me on my daily. I do lean on your wisdom in so many different areas in my life. Anyways, it's a little bit of fanfare here today with you.
Oh, it's a day for it, actually.
It is. It is. I mean, we are so close. We actually take pictures, selfies of each other when we're pooping because that is how amazing we are. Because we literally are always dealing with our tummies. And so we have to put up with a lot of stuff together. And we understand that, you know, today is not my day.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got you. And then vice versa. I'm literally going to melt down right now because of my dog, Lyndsay. And then I'm like, you go, just try it out. Do your thing with Norm. Everything's gonna be okay. I mean, we have such a good balance between the two of us, and it's refreshing and it's good for people to know that do struggle with chronic pain or that do work with people in chronic pain, or both of you live in this kind of world, that there are people out there that you can trust to help support you in your day to day. I mean, they are out there. Did it take me 24 years to find her? Yes, it did. But
she came.
It was well worth the wait. But I just want to offer that hope because on my loneliest of days, because it's very lonely when you're in pain, you know, you can only say what you can say about how it feels. You know, like I've always said, it always feels like I'm walking on Legos and gravel and hot lava rocks. And I've got hot lava worms running through my veins and whatever. I can only say so much. But when you do find somebody that has experienced the same sort of things in your world, it doesn't make you feel so alone. It doesn't make you feel like you're on this island, you know, because it can get so secluded where you're just like, what does it even matter if I'm alive? And those are some scary thoughts. And those are some things, suicidal ideations that comes with chronic pain. We hear about all the time. I've lost a ton of people to suicide over the years of being somebody in this pain community. And it's very, very sad. Some of which I've known, some of which I've just heard through the grapevine of being in the community. So it's a scary place in there. So for those of you that do work with people in chronic pain or do work with me, thank you for understanding that I definitely do have more hard days lately than I normally do, but I'm pushing through it. And the number one reason that I'm able to get through it on my daily is because of my guest today, Rachel.
That means a lot.
And she didn't cry because she cried before the episode.
This is factual. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Rach. I mean, honest to God, I didn't know that it was going to be as much of a love story today as it ended up turning out to be, but it's totally true. It's totally true.
Right back at you.
Do you have any? Thank you, babe. Do you have anything you want to leave our listeners with before we hit the dusty trail?
Honestly, I think if I can leave your listeners with one thing, it's that if you're struggling with any type of symptom and you have been told it's all in your head, to keep digging. If you have this gut feeling that there's something more going on, keep digging. There are a lot of practitioners out there who will do the digging for you. I think Lyndsay and I can both speak to that, and finding someone that works for us to find out the root cause, because at the end of the day, you can take as many drugs as you want, but finding out the root cause of what's causing your symptoms is going to be the only way to overcome them for the most part. So I think if I can leave you with one thing, it would be to follow your instinct, keep digging, and you will get through it one day at a time. If not 1 day, 1 hour. If not 1 hour, 1 minute. And that's what I would have to say.
Thank you. Thanks for being here with me today. And guys, if you are fans of Bernadoodles, she literally, I send all of my Instagram reels because us girls, all we do is communicate in reels now back and forth. I've got my 5 besties and we all are sending each other our reels all day. That's how we're communicating that we're alive and okay. You can follow Norman, her Bernadoodle, at Norman the Bernadude, Norman the BERNEDOODE.
Yes.
This dog is huge. We call him the hippo now. But you also get a taste of Rachel as well, and how loving and caring and awesome, and just that's who I talk to is Norm the Bernadoodle. I don't even talk to her on social media. It is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Thanks again for spending time with us today here, Rach. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having
You are exclusively invited to share this friendship through pain, Bernadoodle extravaganza VIP pain journey together. Let's get to the heart of how to heal with you by my side. Do you know somebody who needs to hear this conversation today? Do you need to hear it? Are you living in a place where you don't have somebody that you can do every 23 seconds with? Well, you've got me and you've got Rachel. We might have to do like every 26 seconds because we got to fill you in. If there's someone that you love that is struggling in any of these departments that we've talked about, or you're just feeling alone and on an island in your own pain, whatever that might be, physical or emotional, it's all pain is pain is pain, right? Welcome to the Pain Game Podcast. Let's connect and hear your stories. Reach out to us if you need anything at all. We are here to hear and share your powerfully amazing stories. No matter how sad or how happy they are, we're here to offer hope to everybody that listens to this show. Please follow the Pain Game Podcast wherever you digest your podcast content. We will be there. Visit us at thepaingamepodcast.com and follow us on all the socials, the ones that Rachel is putting up. Thanks for listening, my little VIPs. Catch you on the other side.